Three new Macs are finally here. We just got the new Mac Mini, iMac, and MacBook Pro announcements, and I've got to say, as someone who has been a little critical of Apple over the last couple of months, really in all of 2024, credit to where credit is due. Not the most exciting announcements ever, but some really solid upgrades that even PC fans have got to admit are really good options. Also, there are some hints and clues that Apple dropped throughout these mini events that give us a good idea of what Apple is working on next. Maybe some new features have just been leaked, so let me break down the news of the week and tell you what you need to know. So I don't want to toot my own horn, but as I correctly predicted last week, Apple did their hybrid approach of doing a press release announcement, but also doing these mini event videos. About 10 to 15 minute videos happened on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, introducing an all-new iMac, Mac Mini, and MacBook Pros. And if you missed the news, let me give you a really quick recap of the highlights of these new Macs. So starting off the week was the all-new M4 iMac. We got some small color refinements here. Of course, we've got the M4 silicon inside. We've got USB-C accessories now, but Magic Mouse is still going to charge in the worst way possible, but USB-C is now here. You've got an improved 12 megapixel camera here, and also a nano texture option for the glass. If you want an anti-glare finish for your iMac, maybe you've got this thing in a bit of a brighter room, that is here right now, launching on November 8th. Then, of course, we got the all-new, sort of impossibly small Mac Mini. That's just a little bit bigger than the Apple TV, much smaller than the older Mac Mini, the outgoing model, and also the Mac Studio. And this thing, I think, was kind of the star of the show because for $600, you're getting a lot of computer for the money. You can option this with either the M4 or M4 Pro. You've got two USB-C ports on the front with a headphone jack. You've got an array of USB-C ports on the back, HDMI, Ethernet, power, and that's it. Really the essentials here, just a really small, versatile little Mac that's just, again, giving you a lot of computer for the dollar. I mean, not just even like regular home users, even if you're like trying to jump into the world of photo editing or video editing, that M4 silicon is pretty powerful, and you're getting a really great computer for a really great price. And then last but certainly not least, as the leak suggested, we got the all-new MacBook Pros available in a myriad of configurations all the way up to the M4 Max, the new silicon that is Apple's flagship processor. They tout the speed, they tout the performance, but really here, this is nothing earth-shatteringly new. Same design, you've got a very similar sort of configuration space as the outgoing models here, and if you were waiting for a good time to buy a MacBook Pro, that would be right now, because now you've got the new M4 silicon inside, and this is just, again, a really great computer. Obviously a bit more expensive than an iMac or a Mac Mini, but if you're looking for more of a professional end computer, new MacBook Pros are looking fantastic. Now, of course, the internet still did the internet's thing, and they made fun of Apple a little bit during the week for the weird USB-C charging on the Magic Mouse and Apple placing the power button on the bottom of the new Mac Mini. There were some memes flying around social media. But overall, I've got to admit, again, as an Apple fan who's been pretty critical this year, these are really solid upgrades. It's nothing earth-shattering, like no gigantic redesigns. Even the Mac Mini, I guess, got a redesign, but it's kind of mostly the same. They're just really solid computers. You've got a really powerful, versatile M4 chip. You've got good pricing across the board here, and just goes to show that more than in recent years, Apple is committed to the Mac line. They're committed to making it better than ever. And I think that the Mac line has never been as strong as it is right now. And if you're looking for a new Mac, now is an excellent time to buy. You might be wondering what's going on with some of the forgotten Macs of this announcement. So MacBook Air hasn't gotten the M4 treatment just yet, though that is expected early on into the new year of 2025. Mac Pro is still not on M4, and TBD on when we could see a new Mac Pro, more on that in a moment. And then, of course, the Mac Studio, which is still on M2. Would have loved to have seen a little M4 surprise this week, but didn't happen. That is set to be happening in the latter part of next year. I wonder if that'll just get M4, or if Apple do M5 at that point. Not sure, but Mac Studio, MacBook Air, Mac Pro, they're not forgotten. Well, forgotten from this week, but they will be getting updates sometime next year. Now, like I mentioned a moment ago, I also think that Apple sort of dropped a lot of hints and clues in some obvious and not so obvious ways with these announcements that give us a good idea of what could be coming next. Apple has continued to sort of expand the nano texture offering, but I wonder if we could see a nano texture option on the iPhone 17 Pro. There is a case to be made, I mean, besides like screen protectors and stuff, that many might actually prefer this anti-glare finish. And Apple is very much trying to tout that you still get insane color accuracy and detail and quality with a nice matte finish. I'm curious, would you want a nano texture option for the iPhone 17 Pro? Or would you rather have the option of a screen protector that you could remove when you didn't want that? Drop a comment down below and let me know. But definitely interesting to see Apple is like going, kind of ham on this, and they're doing a lot of nano texture talk. Wonder if this could be an iPhone upgrade we see in the not too distant future, maybe in 2025. I've also got to wonder, with the redesign of the Mac Mini to a much smaller footprint, if the Mac Pro could see the same thing as well. There's been a lot of debate on whether Apple is committed to keeping the Mac Pro or not keeping the Mac Pro. The real big selling point, really the only advantage Mac Pro has right now, is it does have some expandability, I think is the correct word there, on what it can offer, but it's a way bigger case than what's needed for the new Apple architecture. And I wonder if Apple could shrink it down into a more sort of smaller footprint, maybe something modular. But then that sort of is the territory of the Mac Studio. So I wonder if the Mac Studio and Mac Pro will live in harmony for the foreseeable future, or if Apple's going to phase out the Mac Pro. But I do wonder if a redesign could be warranted given the Mac Mini got it and given the fact that the Mac Pro does not need to be this large for Apple Silicon inside. That's definitely something to sort of keep in mind. And I also thought it was extremely interesting that the main star of the show this week for all of the Apple events was John Ternus. Of course, he's sort of the hardware guy. I think what's his official title? I'll throw it up here on screen. He's a top Apple executive. He always is big in the Mac side, but he's also been an instrumental part in a lot of the Apple events recently with iPad Pros as well. And it almost seems like Apple is maybe subtly or not so subtly sort of bringing him in as the new main guy doing big product reveals, sort of in place of Tim Cook. Not saying that he's going to immediately replace Tim Cook, though according to Mark Gurman over at Bloomberg, he is one of, if not the top contenders to be Apple's next CEO. So just interesting with all the limelight on Apple this week, the main guy, sort of the star of the show, revealing all the major announcements is John Ternus, who could be Tim Cook's replacement. So something to keep on your radar. All right, guys, so that is pretty much the big Apple news of the week. And with these announcements, Apple is basically done for the year, at least in terms of new hardware, maybe some Apple Intelligence updates and some iOS updates, but that's kind of it. So I'm curious, what are your thoughts on this? Were you overwhelmed, underwhelmed with the Mac announcements this week? Was there something you were hoping to see, a surprise, one more thing? Drop a comment down below and let me know. As always, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Robert Rosenfeld from the Apple Circle. I'll see you all in the next one.